about? We are talking about debt. So if you are in debt, you have gotten out of debt. If you want to get out of debt, this you need to tune in and you need to put me on speaker, autoplay, whatever you need to do. So while you're driving, you can hear me talk. So I have been in debt before. And when I say debt, I mean debt. I was about $220,000 in debt. Majority of that was student loans. A portion of that was my mortgage, and a portion of that was my car note. Didn't have any credit cards because when I was in college, I learned the hard way that you don't get a credit card if you don't have no job. And they're always looking for you. Like for $1,000. This one credit card was with Discover. They literally came to my friend's door because I had all my mail forwarded to her house during the summer. Between the summer I had my son and my senior year. And they literally came to her house looking for me for this debt. And I'm like, who does that? But when you owe somebody, you have to pay them. So my experience started off with my first credit card was with Express. I was excited about that because I could go to the store and I could just buy me clothes. Like I could buy the things that I liked and I didn't have to ask my mom. And after that, I got a Discover card. They were on the college campus, and I signed up for Discover, and they gave me $1,000. I never paid back Discover. I did pay back Express, and that caused a lot of problems, right? Because now they don't know where I live at. All my mail has been forwarded to my friend's house, and they're knocking on my friend's door at the time looking for me. So both of them were my friends. And so, of course, I'm young. I don't have a job. It's not, of course, but I'm like, I'm not about to call these people about this. So, for 7 years from that time, that just lingered on my credit report and then it finally went off. That's the truth. Now, fast forward to where I'm at now, the only debt that I ever had again because I had a negative experience with getting credit cards in college was getting a mortgage and getting a car note. Those were the two things that I knew I needed in life, and those were the two things that I was okay. So going to college caused me to go into extreme debt. Again, I had over $220,000 worth of debt. That is the interest. That's me going to college. I do have 3 degrees. None of them are associates, but that was the amount of money. I never got another credit card until when I found out they changed how they calculate your credit score. So if you don't have a, hold on just 1 minute. All right, so thank you for those of you who waited and came back. So, all right, so now I didn't have I had debt, but what I did was I changed my debt. Hi, Cuffy you. I don't know if I said it right or not, but if not, I'm sorry. I apologize. So I had debt, but I didn't get credit cards because I had my mortgage and I had my car note. Those are the two things that I consistently had. And when I didn't have it, it was over. How to fart and unicorn. So when I found out through a friend that they changed the credit rating, if you didn't have credit cards, you basically can't move your credit score up. What? Whose idea was that? Oh, the idea is to keep you in debt. Thank you so much, the farting unicorn. So in order to keep you in debt, you have to have a credit card. So guess who got credit cards? Here I am getting a credit card. But before I got these credit cards, I was able to cancel $220,000 worth of debt, and that was because I was a teacher. So traditionally, that was supposed to take me 10 years, and every time I did not get a promotion because I was working my tail off as a teacher, I was just like, that's okay. The amount of money that they're canceling each year far exceeds the bonus that they would give me if they rated me as the best teacher in my district. And that was okay. But when COVID hit in 2000, they went in and canceled my loan 3 years early. I didn't even know. I just so happened to got an email and it said like your loans is canceled. And I was actively monitoring my credit report. So this is something that I naturally should have saw. But it was like, oh my goodness. So I had $220,000 wiped away off my credit report because again, majority of my debt was student loans. Then I go in I get these credit cards, and someone told me the way you manage debt credit is you use the credit cards to pay, like you pay for different items, and when you get the cash, you take the cash and you pay the credit card off in full every month. So instead of using your regular cash up front, you're using the credit, and then you take the credit, you take your cash and then pay off the credit. So I was doing that. That was all good. I had no issues until last year. And I was even saving. When I say I was saving like 10% of what I made. I was saving so much that it got up to like $9,000, we're going to say, in a matter of 5 months. But what I did in the beginning, I could not save 10%. And someone said it doesn't matter the percentage. What it matters is that you're saving. And so I started saving like $20 here, $50 there. And then eventually I worked my way up because I was like, this is ridiculous. The amount of money that I'm saving benefits the business. So I was saving money out of the business revenue. And that's how I got to 9,000. It wasn't my personal money. It was just the business revenue. And then I wasn't using my credit cards because I had the business revenue coming in and I wanted to maintain that. Like I wanted to know that I had money set aside, that if the business needed something, they needed a immediate purchase, I had that. And I wanted my stuff clear so then if something happened with my business, I could fall back on me. Well, I'm not even going to say that. This has been a very interesting year. When I say it's been a very interesting year, it's been a very interesting year. And it's just 1 minute it's great, the next minute it's horrible. Like it's like nothing is happening. Like one whole month for 21 days, nothing is happening. And then all of a sudden something else is happening. So what recently occurred is that my credit cards are almost maxed out. Hello, LXYTX. My credit cards are almost maxed out. And I am currently paying monthly payments. I am behind in my mortgage. I am behind in my car note. And I am actively like trying to figure out how I'm going to save money. It's okay that I'm telling you this because I'm going to get out of it. I'm confident of that because I know how to be disciplined. But the issue with discipline is it feels as if you're in a chokehold. And then when you tell people you're being disciplined, it's like they want you to be undisciplined. So they'll be like, oh, I'll take you out to eat. I have children. They'll be like, oh, I'll pay for that. I'll pay for you when you're a kid. No, I don't need to go anywhere. Like those are the things that I naturally like to do. I know you want to be nice. I know you want to take me out. I know you want to treat me and my whole family, but I can't do that. Like I have to use this time to sit at home, eat the food that I can prepare. I don't know how you send me money, Anthony, but however you do it, yeah. If you want to send me money, sure. I'm not gonna tell you no. Um, so I want to sit at home and eat the food that I have in my refrigerator because I can actually cook. And my salmon is absolutely delicious. When I say it's delicious, Anthony, it's absolutely delicious. My salmon tastes better than the salmon you get in the store. And I'm not going to tell anybody my secret unless you are like in my face, and I'm not sharing that on the internet. I will gatekeep that. But I actually can cook. So for me, going out to eat is not like a huge big thing. Like I'll look online, I'll find a recipe, I'll cook it at home. I know how to plate my food. I know how to take pictures of my food. So when I was losing weight, this is all the way off topic. I used to plate excellent. When I say I would plate the food excellent, it would be excellent. Like, oh, okay, you know what you're doing. But let's go back to the debt. So because I'm in trouble and I am trying to, I know I have to save. I called my friend and I asked my friend for some money. And my friend was like, I don't have it because I don't have no money either. What? I was like, oh, okay, no problem. My first reaction was what? But then when I thought more about it, after I made some more calls, and my friend told me how much she had, I was like, I need to call her back because we all need to go. Me and my friend need to both start saving money. And one of the things my friend said to me was, I was doing traveling in the medical field. So she was making a lot of money. She's like, I have none of that money now. And for her to say that like spoke volumes. So there was an issue with her too. So after I got a huge portion of the money that I needed, I called my friend back and I said, look, we're going to say, you don't have any money. The amount of money you have right now, which was $250, is not that much to get you through the week. Like, she has children. One child is in college. One child is not. They're staying at home. She has another child, and it's her. She's divorced right now, but she's like the sole breadwinner for providing, but the father provides as well. It's not that situation, but $250 to get you over to the 15th of August, that is no money. Gas for my car is $66. So we're already down to what, 180 some odd dollars? That's just off the top of my head. If you fill up once per week, if you fill up twice, you're at 120. So if you minus 120 from 250, you at $130. Anything can happen. And that's what the savings is for. The savings is for you not to be in a situation where you really leaning and trusting on this gas to get you from point A to point B to and from work. Like, not to mention, you can't go over nobody's house. You can't go to the grocery store either. Like, you literally have to wake up, go to work, come home, wake up, go to work. So what me and my friend decided to do, which is my suggestion, I said, look, we not putting no money in no envelopes and putting no money in no book and saying we saved $10,000. What we're going to do is we're going to start where we at. I said, I have $1 to my name. That's it. That's all I have. That was dollar cash in my wallet. I don't know how I got this money. That's neither here nor there. I have $1. I said, how about we go ahead and we agree to save $1? And then you tell me what the amount should be, for next week. And she was like, well, I was saving 50 cents a day. And I said, okay, well, if we do 50 cents a day, that's $3.50. I said, I don't like odd numbers. I really don't. I said, I like even numbers. So can we do 4 next week? She said, yes. So now we at $5. So my friend, I said $1 because that's all I had that week. My friend came back. She said 50 cents a day. I said, let's round that up because 50 cents times 7 is $3.50. And she agreed. So now we at $5. I took my money to the bank and I told her that because I have a Navy Federal savings account. The reason why I got Navy Federal for savings, because at the time for my business, because in order to get a Navy Federal account, I had to have a personal account because I had to prove that I was somebody in my family was in the military, which that was nothing. Because my father, he served in the Vietnam War. Yes, my parents are old. My father is 80. He'll be 81, and my mother is 81. So I had that Navy Federal account because I knew if I ever came back to Cleveland, Ohio, that in order for me to get my money out, I would have to go through hell and high water because there is no parking at the federal building. You have to park on the street or in a parking garage. And not only do you have to park far away from where you have to go, but you have to come in, go through security, show them your ID. Then you have to go through to the 26th floor. Then you have to wait in a line because this is the only, at the time, this was the only Navy Federal in the whole state of Ohio. Not to mention that the Air Force Base is in Dayton and there is no Navy Federal down there. But the only Navy Federal is in Cleveland, Ohio at the time. Now there are two on both sides. There's a Navy Federal branch on the east side. There's a Navy Federal branch on the west side. But back then, so if I had to go there to get money, I really needed the money. And so I went and I put the money in the account. I put my $5 in the savings. And I found out I had money in my checking account. And I already knew I had money, I think, in the savings account for Navy Federal for the business. But I don't have money in the checking account because I don't use the checking account through Navy Federal for anything. It was simply, this is the money. If I come to this bank, that means that my business desperately needs this money. And I can say that I spent money on things that I should not have spent money on. I can honestly look back at my business account and I can see I spent money on things I should not have spent money on. But with that said, I saved $5. So we're supposed to meet today, my friend and we're supposed to talk about what we're saving for next week. I'm supposed to pick, and the money I said is $20. I got $20 now. I'm saying I'm not going to spend this $20. I'm going to put this $20 in the savings. And so now I'm up to $25 that I done saved in the last 3 weeks. That's better than nothing. All of this putting the money in an envelope and doing this and doing that, to me, that's foolish. That's foolishness. That's foolishness because the goal ultimately is to save 10%, and from 10% of what you bring in is to increase it to even more, where you're relying less, where your expenses are low, and your revenue that you're generating in, that you're holding back, is high. The guy told me for every dollar I bring in, I need to save 20 cents. So I can only spend 80 and I have to save 20. He told me when he looked at my business accounts that I was at 36%. So every dollar I bring in, I have to save 36% of that. Do you know how hard that is? Like, even for a regular person, like just me and you on here right now. Not saying I own a business. I'm saying, do you know how hard it is to save 36% of your income? And kudos to any of you who are watching me that can save 36% of your income. But 36% of your income is very difficult to save. So start somewhere. You got to start somewhere. You can't start at 10% and you ain't never practiced that. You got to start somewhere. And so this $20 I'm going to recommend this week, because she gets paid tomorrow, I believe, but probably not on a Saturday. So I'm going to say she got paid today. So I'm going to call her on the phone when I get off of this live, because I got 2 more lives to do today. And I'm going to tell her the amount we're going to save this week is $20. Which is way more than the 50 cents a day. But if we have to go back down to $1 next week, I'm okay with that too, because I have a lot going on. So I just want to tell somebody that you saving money and being in debt, it ain't it. Like, what I learned on my journey since I have left the classroom is I really like having money. And when I say I like having money, I mean I like having money. I like having money in the bank, and I like knowing that whatever I want to do, I can do, and there are no restrictions. Now, it does not mean that I'm out buying luxury and designer, because now I'm getting into buying land. Like, that's I feel like I have arrived when I have like 1,000 acres of land. I really feel like I arrived at 100 acres, but 1,000. And let me tell you this story why I say 1,000 acres. My cousin, who is deceased, my cousin's husband, my uncle, my great uncle, who is deceased, and my aunt, was my great aunt. So it was my great uncle and my aunt. They, my uncle, my great uncle, he came to Cleveland, Ohio to work. They were from Mississippi when it was a whole bunch of slaves. So they came to Cleveland. He came to Cleveland, Ohio. We gonna say it was 1945, 1936. The point of the matter, he came to Cleveland, Ohio to work. He worked until he had enough money to buy him some land. I just found out this man bought 80 acres of land by working up here in Cleveland. I did not know it was 80 acres. I was thinking like, maybe he got 5 or 10, right? 80 acres, and they still own the land as a family. If he had the wherewithal to do it back then, in a segregated and old Mississippi, and he was able to do it and be able to pass it down from generation to generation, I know I can buy at least 100 acres, if not 1,000. I know that. I honestly believe that. Not only do I believe it for me, I believe it for you too. But we have to save money. We have to start somewhere. I see all these people talking about how you can buy land, make sure it has electricity on the land, and then rent it out to electric companies, and then they can do solar panels or what have you. I don't know anything about that. But if you throw the idea out there, I'm pretty sure I could research it and find out the answer. But I can't get there if I'm not saving money, if I'm not being disciplined. And it is great when you can be disciplined with other people, but join me. I'm coming on every day. Every day I'm talking about something different, something to help you develop who you are as a person. Because you can't get to where you need to be. You can't save the money you need to save until you know who you are, what your likes are. I told people earlier this week, I said, go and take the aptitude test. You can click on my link in my profile on YouTube. A free aptitude test is right there. Allison's Aptitude. All you have to do is click the link. There are 3 parts to the assessment. The assessment asks you for your aptitude test is what you are, the skill, your ability, and the talent that you naturally have. And it suggests careers based off of your skill set, your natural ability, and your talent you already have. Not something you have to go out and develop. And it's free. Click the link in my bio because, one, you saving money, but what you saving money for? You saving it for a rainy day? Okay, but once you have enough for that rainy day, what you saving money for then? You need to save the money to invest in yourself, to invest in your idea, to invest in a business because you're a hard worker. You work really hard. You've never missed a day. You showed up. You've never, taken a vacation. Whatever it may be that you've never done, this is what you're saving the money for because that skill that you're developing at that job that you actually are relying on, because I've been there. I was a teacher. I loved my job. The only reason why I left being a teacher was because they refused to give me a promotion. And they put me in a K-8 building, which I have never taught in a K-8 until that time. And my degree doesn't even go all the way down to kindergarten. My degree and my licensure is only for 4th through 12th, and there are no career tech programs for 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, only 7th through 12th. And the district I work in had no formal career tech education for 7th or 8th grade. So basically, I was only a high school teacher. And me and the lady in HR argued back and forth all the time about my ability and what I could and could not do. But what I am saying is that I never got to the point when I left them. I was able to really implement the things that I already learned. I thought I was going to stay in my job forever. We were winning. We were coming in first and second place, but that is not what happened. That is absolutely not what happened. And you may be wondering like, well, where are you at right now? I am in my business. This is the business I own. I serve children. I absolutely love what I do. I wouldn't trade it for anything. The only thing is I don't like the people that I'm hiring. It's like they're not even passionate about who they are, which is why I've been trying to tell people, one, start where you are. Take the aptitude test. Click the link in my bio. Click the link in my bio that says Allison's aptitude test. It is absolutely free. Start there. You need to take a personality test. You need to take a work values interest test. You need to take the career profile, career profile interest assessment. That's a link is in there for that. I don't want you to take all of these in one day because it could be overwhelming if you've never done this. I want you to go day by day, but we're coming to the end of this and you should be at least at test 3. So you should have taken the aptitude test. Click that link if you didn't. You should have taken the career profile assessment. You should have taken the personality test. This tells you what your personality is like. The other thing I learned by taking the personality test, and I took a full-blown Myers-Briggs personality test, is that the most effective teams are teams that represent all 16 personalities. When you have a team and you have 9 people who are ENFPs, you're not getting that much done. But when you have each personality represented on your team, that is the most effective team. So if you want to build a team, I would use that personality test that I'm telling you to take now, and you hire based off of that. You hire people based off of their personality. You can ask them to take them. Yes, I need you to go on and take a personality test. And when you're done, I need you to email it to this email address. And then once we receive your personality test, we will call you in for an interview. It's that simple. Somebody suggested that when I was in a mastermind, and I was like, oh, that's a brilliant idea. Because if they don't take the personality test and they don't email it to the email you tell them to go to, they're not even a candidate. Why? Because they can't follow directions. So because they can't follow directions, that's not somebody you want to hire. You're trying to build a team. You're trying to build an organization. You need people that will support you. You don't need people that's going to question, well, I ain't think I really had to do that. What you mean you ain't think you really had to do that? You do need to do that. That's what I told you needed to do on the app, on the job posting. So why did you think that what I said on the job posting was not important and that it was not like something that needed to be completed? Because you don't know how to follow directions. That's why you thought that. So I talked about that. I talked about the meeting I'm having as soon as I get off the phone, like not off the phone, but as soon as I'm in this live about the debt. I am suggesting that we save $20 this week. That is my suggestion, is the $20. I'm not suggesting we put no money in no envelopes. Again, if you're just tuning in, I'm not suggesting that we make a budget. No, the budget will come later. But right now, we need to put the money in the envelope. So I challenge you, what is the amount that you can save per day? What is that? 7 days in a week? What was that? 12 cents I could only say? Yeah, it was like 12 cents, 15 cents a day. It was low. 15 times 7, I don't know. 7. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. It's a little bit more than that. But the point of the matter is, like, if you saving $1, yeah, that's like 15 cents a day. I think that's 15 cents a day. I may be off, but the point of the matter is I went from 15 to 50, and now I said 20 because I made a conscious decision about that's the amount that I want to save next week. If she doesn't agree with me, then I have to go back to the table because we're doing this as a joint effort. And I ask that you come along for the journey. Like, you won't be in on our meetings or our calls when we make or the text messages, but just make up in your mind, you know what? I think I'm gonna come along for the journey and start at $1, $1 for the week. Go to $4 for the next week, or 50 cents a day. You could do 25 cents a day. That's more than $1 we save, but start somewhere. We got to start somewhere. You know, a lady was telling me today she needed $1,500, and I'm like, oh, okay. Why don't you get on the internet and tell people you need $1,500 for your daughter to stay at school? I'm thinking she was saying 15,000. She was saying $1,500. Her problem was a $1,500 problem. I'm like, ma'am, thank you, Jesus. Like, people really have problems over $1,500. I am nowhere near a $1,500 problem, and I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful that I'm willing to get out here and talk to people. I don't even know how people could give me money, and I'm shocked that somebody came on here and was like, "Can I give you $10?" Of course you can give me money, and I don't know you. You can always give me money. I wish somebody on here would give me that $1,500 so I could call this lady and tell her I got the $1,500 for you. Because I definitely would give her the $1,500. Because I even suggested, I said, ma'am, somebody was just on Instagram. They asked if 8,000 people could give just $5. That would send 2 twins to college that were honor students. And I was like, all you want is 5? I found $5 to give to her because I know what it's like to need, you know? I don't know what it's like to need to send somebody to school, but I do know what it's like to need. And because of that, you know, let me help. I never know if I don't need help for my twins. So with that being said, I didn't even tell y'all, like, I just have a lot of experience in business, and I do a lot of different things. Like, I learned the last 5 years, I kind of thought emotionally and not logically. And I kind of reacted to situations instead of being like logically processing the situation. I made some mistakes that I would tell somebody, if you ever get a lease, and I'm talking about a commercial lease, make sure you pick up the phone and you call somebody and you ask them, you know, can I sit down with you and go over this lease I just got? Somebody who already have a lease. Because one of the things I learned is that you need to make sure you are receiving an invoice that details out your monthly rent amount and the monthly amount for utilities. That is just basic business acumen. You need, as a business owner, to have an invoice that says your invoice amount, your monthly rent, and the monthly amount for the utilities. And if you don't do that, that is a red. If the company who you're leasing from doesn't do that, that's a red flag. What I also learned is landlords rule in America. Renters do not. Nobody cares about you if you are a renter. Nobody. It is about the landlord. Why? Because the landlord is paying more taxes than you. That's why. The landlord is the owner. The cities are making their money off the owners. They are not making their money off the renters. The owner is paying the taxes. But I happen to be in a facility where this organization doesn't pay taxes. So that's a little bit different. They are a nonprofit. But still, landlords rule, not renters. And so if you do not have savings, if you have not saved $1, if you are renting, your goal is to own. I know you hear people say, oh, you don't want to own. Baby, yes, you do want to own. You do want to own. I'm telling you the truth. You want to own. You want to own your car. You want to own your house. You want to own the land that the house is on. You do not want to rent. You don't want to rent from anybody. You are an asset, as somebody told me, and their name can be easily found if you Google these words. You are an asset on somebody's income statement. They P&L, they profit and loss. You are an asset if you are a renter, which that is what I was in business. You need to start saving. Start small. If you can only save 50 cents, start somewhere, or 10 cents for the week. Even if there's 10 cents or a quarter you found on the side of the street, go open up you a savings account and make sure you don't, oh, I never said that. Other thing about my Navy Federal account, I don't have any cards to it. Do not send me a card to this account. I'm not coming in there. I do not want to be able to go to the ATM machine and pull out money. I want it to be so difficult for me to get this money, to have access to this money. Why? Because I lack discipline. I lack discipline. People say, oh, the discipline run over. No, when you start going out of control with discipline, the discipline lacks in every area of your life. It just lacks. You know, I lack discipline. And I'm trying to figure out what the answer is. Like, I didn't grow up poor. My family was middle class. And I didn't go without. I didn't go without until my mom lost her job. And that was the biggest blow to me, because it just disrupted my whole life. I couldn't go to the school with my friends anymore. You know, I couldn't go to the stores where I normally was going to shop. I had to go to this store called Dots, where everything, like the jeans were $10. That was so cheap back then. And it was like, you got to be kidding me. Like, this is so, it was like embarrassing. Like, we were on food stamps. I didn't like that either. Like, it was not glorified back then to be on food stamps. And so that was the first time in my life that I experienced that. But I'm a believer in Jesus Christ. And I remember I always thought in my head the reason why we were going through this was because the days that I wanted to go to church, my mom was like, oh, I'm tired. I don't want to go to church. And I would be upset as a kid. Like, this is why we going through this, because you don't want to go serve God. Like, and I never told her that. And I probably will tell her that recently. Like, I thought those thoughts as a kid. Like, you have to put God first in your life, you know, and it's not because of what he'll give you. It's just a simple fact that we're all placed here to do something special and extraordinary for other people. You know, now you hear a lot of people talking about yes, I love God, I love God. Well, that's because you went through hard times. Like, what about the loving him because you haven't gone through a hard time, right? What about the loving him because you've read his stories in the Bible that were given to man and you believe the stories? What about that? What about the fact that he woke you up again another day to see the earth, to see the people you love? What about the fact that he gave you another opportunity? That it's not about what you can get. It's about seeking his face, his complete face, for total healing and restoration in your life. That's what it's about. So saving money, like even the situation I'm in now, I'm like, I messed up because I didn't represent him the same way he's represented in the Bible. That has been my biggest letdown. It hasn't been that, you know, I don't have a savings. It's the fact that I proclaim to serve a great God and I'm sitting here living in mess because of the choices that I've made. It don't have nothing to do with nothing else. Like, it just absolutely don't. And people have helped me, and I'm thankful to those people. I'm graciously thankful to those people. But I have to do more for me. I have to do more for the legacy I want to leave behind. Like, I don't want my man to be like, what's up with you? Like, why you don't have no discipline? Like, how you doing all of this and you have no discipline in your money? Why would I invest money in you? Why would I support you? And how do I know you gonna take care of what I worked so hard for? And that's a reasonable question. You know, that's a reasonable question. What do you have to show for all the money that you've had? What have you saved? I am too old to be getting bailed out by my friends because I'm a risk taker without a calculated plan. Like, it's just so crazy. But I digress. Save. If you don't remember anything else, You got to save some money. You know, you got to save. You don't know what's coming. You don't know what's coming. You don't know the hedge of protection that is placed upon your life. You have to be prepared for anything. That's what I learned too. You don't know. When somebody tells you something, you have to prepare today for what is happening in the future. You don't just wake up one day and buy 100 acres or 1,000 acres. It's a well calculated plan. It could have started with 1 acre. It could have started with 2 acres. The same thing as it would be if you were saving. You were saving money. I didn't tell you who I am, but I am Shyla Massey. I am a certified business and marketing education teacher. I have over 19 years of experience teaching, about to be 20. I think it's 20, could be 20 because I didn't start losing track. I am certified in the state of Virginia to teach business and marketing education. I was certified in the state of Ohio, but I let my license lapse. So I have to take training classes. I will have to take professional development so I can get my license back in the state of Ohio. I own a business currently. I own a couple of businesses currently. I've been attending masterminds, and everybody is saying you need to focus on one idea. But the thing is, I have so many ideas, and I would just love to just like pass them on to other people so that they can implement them, because I get all these ideas and they're all cash flowing. Like, that was the other thing. Like, I just wish I could pass them off to people and they just manage them, because I have some really great ideas. Like, but this has been my most successful idea to date that I'm sitting in. I'm really thankful because I always thought I would own a school. I always wanted to own a school because I knew that I would be providing someone else with a purpose. Let them know that their life is important. And I've been able to do that. Even when children leave, they always consistently asked about me. They asked about, you know, where I'm at, or can they come see me and come visit me? And their parents tell me that every time we pass by there, they want to come and see you. And so I'm forever grateful for those that I have encouraged and inspired and left a lasting impression upon their life. And that's why I have to do better. I have to save. I have to start somewhere. I can't wait to have this conversation with my friend to see if she is cool with the $20 I'm going to suggest in our meeting tonight to save for this week. And I want to hear her amount for the following week, because whatever it is, I have to go to the bank tomorrow to put the money in there. Even though I could put it in next week, but I have to do a lot of different things. Like, I just found out, I'm not even going to talk about that, but saving is important. And once you save, you have to, it's hard to create a budget. I will say this, because people always tell you need to make a budget, right? But if you don't know how much you're going to get in, you can't accurately make a budget. What you can accurately do is list all your debts and pay them off as the money comes in. That's what you can do. You can put everybody that you owe. All you have to do is get a notebook. And I have a notebook. I'm going to show you my notebook. I got a couple of notebooks. And that's the problem with me. I always got all these notebooks. But I have a notebook. I got a couple of notebooks. I only have one with me. I normally have like 3 notebooks. Okay, so this is one of my notebooks. Okay, so this is one of my notebooks. And this, I put everything down. I've always done this. So you can get any kind of notebook. I get these for free. And I list down, I line item every day. That's what I do. It's over here on this side. Let's go to right here. Okay. So if you look over here, this is everything that I've owed. Most of this, no. But like this stuff down here has been paid. And as I pay it, I scratch it off. So if you see, and then I have an amount down here that says $52,891.24. And then on the side it says $52,891.40 because I was off by 16 cents. But you simply write down the amount and then you put it over here. And then some people will tell you like, oh, you can use an Excel spreadsheet. Yes, you can use an Excel spreadsheet. But if you don't know how to use Excel, why would you use an Excel spreadsheet? Because now you have to learn how to use Excel and you have to be bewildered. I know how to use Excel. I know how to use it enough to really have someone understand. I know how to do adding, subtraction, multiplication, all of that on a spreadsheet. But I don't recommend that if you do not know how to use Excel. I do not recommend anybody sitting in anybody's class to use Excel and you start here. Get a notebook, write everything down. Like I said, this is my notebook. I have notes in here as I do things. I mark them off because somebody was trying to tell me to do wholesaling, but I've already owned property, so why would I go backwards? It's just, and I have, you know, driven by and seen properties and what have you, and people have told me that's what they started with. But I'm trying to go back to that page so you can see it. But get a notebook. If you go to a conference, like I got this from the Antigua, I don't know, and Barbuda Tourism Board. I got this little notebook. I got 3 of these. I got 2 of these like aqua blues, water blue, aqua for the ocean. Oh my goodness. This is on my other channel. This is on Glistening July. If you like to travel, you need to go to Glistening July. That's GLISTENINGJULY. That is my travel channel. I love to travel. So like everybody has their like vices, like the things that they when they like little things. I've been traveling even when I was a teacher. When I say I travel, I travel. I am not like, I've been to 39 out of the 50 states. I love to travel. So this is my notebook, and I put my budget down in here. Everything that I owe, like I added everything up, and as I pay it off, I mark it off. So it's no confusion, but you just need a notebook with lines. I think these are like 50 cents. You can get the flip ones. I used to do the flip ones. I used to do the notebooks that I would pay for, but I stopped doing that because I started getting all these little notebooks for free. So as I pay things off, I'm looking for where I was before. Oh, right here. No, where was I at? Right here. Okay, so this is where I was. So I want you to see this. So this right here, I put down the item. What did it say? Paste. Okay. Okay, I had to pay for these cupcakes, which I did. They were like $700, but I got them down to lower than that. I think they was like $300. So I paid these items, and as I pay them off, I just X them off the budget. And it depends on how much money I have, how I allocate. You know, the squeaky wheel gets oil first. If somebody is like, hey, you said you was gonna pay me and they calling me every day, they typically get paid. That's the truth. They get paid first. That don't have nothing to do with nobody else, or somebody like, hey, you know. But the whole borrowing money from people, that's gotta go. That absolutely has to go. It has to end. This is what you do. You write down what you owe and you put the number there. And once you pay it, you exit off. You do not use an Excel spreadsheet unless you know how to use Excel. If you do not know how to use Excel, don't use Excel. I don't know why you're listening to these people who have no business background. They were information technology majors, and then all of a sudden they tried to figure out their life, and now you want to go to them for advice. I am a certified business and marketing education teacher. I've taken accounting classes. When I sit with my CPA, He's like, oh, you know what you're talking about. When I go to banks, I have the documents they're requested. I have a profit and loss statement that's up to date, that's connected to my bank accounts. I have a balance sheet. I have a cash flow statement. I have all of those things and I understand them. I have a business plan. I understand my business plan. Like, I'm here because I wavered from my business plan. I'm here because I tried to give my business off to people who were not worthy to manage my business because I wanted to sit at home and travel. Like, that's what I like to do. And that's what I like to do. I don't like going out buying luxury stuff. I ain't too big on all these things. I don't even need you to know that I have a business. But what I do need is a vacation. I love to go vacation. I like going to sit at the water. Just going to sit at the water. But what are your goals? Where do you want to start at? Do you want to save money? You know, finance is debt management. That's what finance means. Accountancy is you're dealing with real numbers. This is how much money you got in. This is how much you paid out in expenses. And this is your profit, which your profit ends up being your cash flow. When you go month to month after you brought in the revenue and you've paid all your expenses, the amount of money that's left over in your bank at the end of the month or your end of your bank accounts, that's your cash flow. And the more cash you have at the end of the month, the more thriving your business looks. So your goal in business is to always have money at the end of the month. Your goal in life is to always have money at the end of the month. It is never to spend every last dime that you have. It is never to spend every last dime that you have. And the truth of the matter is, if you can't save your own money, you can't save somebody else's money. I'm going to say that again. If you can't save your money, you can't save someone else's money. So we are here because I made mistakes. And I'm willing to get myself out of them. I'm willing to document my journey that got me out of there. So then, guess what? I can help somebody else. And somebody else can say they, like she just got on here and she was talking every day about how you have to find out who you are as a person. You need to take the aptitude test that's free in my profile on YouTube. You need to take the personality test. You need to take the career profile assessment so you can know what you're naturally good at. That's what the aptitude test tells you, what your natural skill, ability, and talent is. Something that you can do effortlessly. You need to take a personality test. When you get into situations, are you the talker? Are you the person that's going to be quiet? So that means, are you an extrovert or are you introvert? What I've learned is I'm an extrovert in public, but at home, I'm an introvert. And I don't know if that's because I've talked myself to death. So now I'm ready to just be quiet and sit there. I don't know. But what I do know is that I enjoy being by myself and being quiet alone. So once I get off here, like, what are your leave a comment. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. My name is Shyla Massey. Okay? I just got into it with somebody. I didn't get into it with them, but it was like, it's okay if somebody doesn't know your name. No, it's not. It's my name. And if you want to talk to me, you need to address me by my name. I can't address you by a name that I decided to make up regarding your name. And that's just common courtesy. If you can't say my first name, at least get my last name right. And if you can't get my first or last name right, then you need to say sir or ma'am. Or you need to ask somebody, can you tell me what your name is? And practice saying their name. What is the harm in practicing someone's name? Making that person feel special. We all want to feel special. What's wrong with that? Nothing is wrong with that. That means that you're invested in that person because you took the time to learn their name. I'm in a group with people, right? I don't know all their names. I know Carolyn, I know Michelle, I know Jessica, I know Pim, because it was simple, it was easy. I know Maria. I don't know what Maria's my husband's name is. And there's Anur. Anur and Jehu. I knew Jehu's name. You want to know why I knew Jehu's name? He's like, you the first person that got it right. I said, I know your name because it's in the Bible. That's how I know your name. He's like, well, it's spelled differently. I said, I still knew it was in the Bible, and I knew what your name, I knew how to say it. He was shocked. Yeah, dude, I'm sensitive about names. I'm sensitive about names. I'm sensitive about people. I know what it's like to want for somebody to get your name right, for wanting people to know how to say your name. I've been like that. I've had people with all kinds of names, and I call them by their last name because typically if the first name is unusual, the last name is common or easy to pronounce. So that's just a little skill. Call them Miss or Mr., and their last name. If you can't get either of their names together, baby, you got to sit there and learn their name. You got to sit there and learn their name. You cannot just be calling people off and not knowing what their names, how to pronounce their names, how to say their names. No. But what are you going to say this week? Tell me what you're going to say this week. You got to say something. You cannot just... Most people in America get paid today. This is Friday. Historically, a lot of people have gotten paid today. So because a lot of people get paid on Friday, what are you saving? Are you going to spend it all up? Are you going to save $1? Are you going to start there? Are you going to start with 50 cents? I don't know, but you need to save something. You have to save something today. You have to. And you know what? While I'm on here, let's talk about customer service and how it's a dying art. How is it that we have a whole generation that they don't even know how to respect people? They have no concept of how to respect people. What does that say about the businesses that we have and what we're actually teaching children? I taught customer service as a business teacher because your goal in business is to get the customer's money into your business account. It is not for the customer to keep their money in their pocket. No, every business is in business to make money. We live in a capitalist society. We're not a dictatorship. We're not socialism. It is capitalism. And capitalism is based off of profit, making money. You cannot make money if you make people feel bad. That's the easiest way to explain why customer service is important. If you make people feel bad, you're not making any money. You're not going to make money unless that's your whole business model is come here so we can talk to you bad. But why would that be your business model when people say bad things about themselves in their mind already? They don't need you to say anything bad about them. Your business model is based on excellent customer service. That's how you make money. You make money by being respectful in negative situations. You make money by having someone walk away with dignity, even if you do not agree with them. You do not make money off of any other method. It's a dying art. I was at the airport yesterday at Frontier, not for myself, but for someone else. And the lady was rude. And I'm thinking in my head, why am I even here? Because I'm not here for me. I am here for someone else. And then I was filming and I realized that people don't even know how to check in at Frontier. They don't even know the rules. There is nothing out there to guide people to tell them how to conduct themselves. There is no education that occurs to help people navigate through. And the people at the ticket counter spend more time telling the customers about Frontier's policy and how to navigate everything than they do anything else. And then the lady got mad. I was like, so then it was some Karen as a guy in line gonna say she's live, and I don't got nobody's face. So then the girl's like, I don't want my face on a live. Ma'am, I don't want your ugly face on my live either. So why would I even put you on there? I don't have permission for you to be on this live. So I'm not stupid and I'm not young like you where I just be recording anything. And she was just rude. And then she took somebody that was behind me and I was waiting in line first. I was there before it was anybody there. It was one guy while they was on break doing God knows what, or they just left the man and just wandered off, customer service is a dying art. That's what I'm going to end with. You want your business to thrive? You want your life to thrive? Be nice to people. Be kind to people. And if somebody is being ignorant, be enough human being to walk away. I ain't there yet. I can honestly say that. I want to get there. I really do. But just walk away. All right, I'm about to get off of here. I appreciate everybody who liked. I appreciate you, Anthony, for wanting to give me money. And I didn't even know how to get your money. So guess what I'm going to work on? I'm going to work on trying to figure out how I'm going to get this money next time somebody want to give me some money. All right. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.